When you're raised in Hell's Kitchen, you're bound to have a little devil in ya. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be reduxing our comic book origins of Daredevil, the man without fear. As with most comic book characters, there are often reimaginings and different versions to a character's past. We have chosen to primarily follow the storyline which unfolded in 1993's and 94's Daredevil the Man Without Fear numbers 1 to 5, which was expanded upon in 2011's Daredevil Yellow number 1.
First thing you gotta understand is nobody feels sorry for you and nobody ever will. Because when it comes to being born lucky, you won the friggin' lottery.
I did.
As readers learned in Daredevil number 1, the acrobatic vigilante known as Daredevil was Matt Murdock, the son of a small-time boxer.
Sorry you lost, Dad.
Just wasn't my night.
When he was young, Matt saw a truck about to hit an old man crossing the street. Matt dove in front of the truck, pushing the old man safely out of the way. In the chaos, chemicals from the truck spilled out onto Matt, causing him to go blind.
I can't see! I can't see!
However, those same chemicals also gave him heightened senses, which more than compensated for his lack of sight. Learning Braille, he continued to go to school and started on the path towards law school, also meeting Foggy Nelson, a man who would go on to become his best friend.
Me and you, Maverick and Goose, no secrets.
Goose died, and he was married.
Details.
Daredevil's origin was expanded upon many years later. In 1993's Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, audiences are introduced to many aspects of DD's backstory that would go on to become staples of the character. Having been born and raised in Manhattan's legendarily rough Hell's Kitchen, Matt's early life was very difficult. Matt's father, Jack, was a second-rate prizefighter who was forced to become a strong-arm man for a crook named the Fixer.
You got all this for losing?
Sometimes, even when you get knocked down, you can still win.
This ultra-bad news dude threatened to kill Matt if Jack didn't do what he said. Jack only wanted for his son to get out of Hell's Kitchen. He made Matt promise to do well in school and to not get into fights, telling him to ignore the ironic taunts of Daredevil from his schoolmates. In this story, we also learn that Matt's heightened senses were discovered by a mysterious man named Stick. Stick began to train Matt, whose skills and abilities expanded exponentially.
Feel the breeze. You got heart, kid. Heart's not enough.
Meanwhile, Matt's father Jack had seen a resurgence in his career in the ring and was on his way to becoming a potential champ. Unfortunately, the Fixer was responsible for his career comeback, having secretly rigged many of the matches leading up to the championship fight. He demanded that Jack throw this big fight. When Jack refused, the Fixer's men made him pay with his life. Matt hunted down his father's killers, beating 4 of them to a pulp and scarring the Fixer so bad that he died of a heart attack. When he attempted to catch the last killer, Matt accidentally pushed a woman from a window, letting her fall to her death. Stick, disgusted by this, abandoned Matt. He also revealed that Matt and one other person were the only adepts of this age, and that the other person had already chosen a path of evil to follow. A few years later, in law school, Matt met that other person, a fascinating young woman named Elektra.
Is it yours?
It is. Until we get caught.
The daughter of a wealthy man with connections, she became as drawn to Matt as he was to her, and a relationship developed. But Elektra had a very dark side, and Stick returned to warn Matt about her. That really didn't matter in the end, as Elektra broke things off of her own accord to keep Matt safe, as she had begun to develop genuine feelings for him.
I win. Yeah, first round, baby. We're just getting started.
At the same time, things were getting a lot worse in Hell's Kitchen. A vile, ruthless leader known as the Kingpin had taken over, stopping at nothing to boost his profits, including child slavery. Now a promising lawyer, Matt had paid a visit to his old neighborhood and discovered a teenager named Mickey living in his father's abandoned gym. They developed a friendship, and when Mickey was kidnapped by associates of the Kingpin, Matt went after them. Having continued to develop his senses, he was able to track her and rescue her, laying waste to the Kingpin's #1 assassin along the way.
Tell me. Who does he work for?
The kid.
I want a name! Fisk! Wilson Fisk!
After this adventure, Matt knew his place was back in Hell's Kitchen. He and his law school roommate, Foggy Nelson, set up an office in the neighborhood, and Stick even gave Matt his blessing. Donning a costume, Matt adopted the nickname that school kids had taunted him with, Daredevil, as his new moniker, and a hero was born. few small additions and changes have been made to Daredevil's origins since the 1990s. In the 2011 miniseries Yellow, a few details emerged that are worth mentioning. For example, after Jack Murdock refused to throw his fight, signing his own death warrant, he gave Matt his favorite yellow robe. It was this robe that formed the basis of Daredevil's first costume, which was yellow and red. In addition to this, Matt also tried to let justice take its proper course with his father's killers. It was only when they beat the system that Matt took matters into his own hands and became Daredevil. As one of Marvel's most popular and distinctive characters, it's only natural that the Man Without Fear should make the leap from comics to other media. Although the 2003 film adaptation was met with a mixed reception, Old Hornhead has been much more warmly received on the small screen. Are you a fan of the fearless hero they call Daredevil? For more awe-inspiring comic book origins and top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to Watch Mojo.
Давай, быстрее!